Welcome to Big Mornings on the Big AM 1380 with your host, Ted Ehlen.
It's 8:11. When life throws you lemons, you know what you do. Well, you could do that, but you could also make something delicious. And that's what Samantha Kendall did. She's the author of a book called Life Through Lasagna Eyes, The Recipes for Life. Uses her own journey of how she rebounded from heartbreak and tragedy to help others find their passion. And we're going to learn about finding your passion in life because we've got her on the phone right now. She's the founder of Sam's Gourmet Lasagna, and she has a passion for keeping her family healthy. It resulted in a variety of recipes that use the same layering technique of her children's favorite meal, lasagna. And so the lasagna lady joins us right now in Big Mornings on the Big AM 1380. We welcome to the program Samantha Kendall. And Samantha, I know a lot of people are happy to hear you on the air because we're all thinking lasagna now, Sam.
Good morning, Ted. How are you?
I am great. And that's the thing. It may be your children's favorite, but there are a lot of people that love lasagna a whole lot. So tell you what, because this is a story about finding joy and laughter after tragedy. So just tell us a little bit about the story that has led to your becoming the lasagna lady.
Well, Ted, I'll tell you that my children's favorite dish, of course, is lasagna. Mm-hmm. And back in 2006, on February 14th, Valentine's Day, I lost my oldest daughter to gun violence. My passion was to do lasagna, and I made it for church organizations and just gave it away. But that became like the centerpiece or the balance in my life to get past or to help me through that tragic moment in my life at that time.
Yeah, and the thing is, obviously, it's worked out nicely because, let's face it, you took your passion and from there worked it into something where you're providing, the passion that you have for making lasagna and turned it into a living and providing the world with a great product, and that's the lasagna that you produce as Sam's Gourmet Lasagna.
Yes, absolutely. Life Through Lasagna Eyes, this is a book that's layered with lasagna, and it just kind of walks you through the layer. Like the noodle means something, the cheese means something. The cheese it locks in the flavor in lasagna, and I just related that to the cheese being people in your life that when tragedy strikes or heartbreak or whatever it may be or your highest pain, that the cheese people, they're kind of holding you together, they're praying for you, they're lifting you up. So I related each layer, each ingredient to how to get through or get past that highest pain in your life.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a great way of looking at it because you just look at lasagna in general. You've got the noodles, and that Lord knows it's funny that you mentioned about just making lasagna and giving it away because I used to do the same darn thing. I used to just enjoy making it, but the problem is I made so much of it, and I was living on my own. I was single at the time. So it's like I had 2 pans worth of lasagna. What am I going to do with the other pan? Well, it turns out that there was somebody at work. He ended up having a wife and a young boy who is now a young man who's actually doing broadcasting now. And so what I did was I passed it along to them, and they very much appreciated that lasagna. And just to see the actual look of delight that came to the fellow I gave it to, as well as the entire family, was just really something. And that's the thing. It's just, I think what you're demonstrating here, Samantha, is that when you give, you get so much back as well, right?
Yes, you do. Absolutely. I'll tell you that this is a funny story how I became the lasagna lady, how I got this name. Mm-hmm. I needed a mentor when I first started, and I reached out to Seattle Sutton, and she's the one who does all the healthy food. She has a whole healthy food line. Mm-hmm. And I reached out to her. I called her up one day, and I said, Seattle, this is Sam. And I had just talked to her a week before, and she says, who is this? I said, this is Sam. And we went back and forth, and I just kept telling her, Sam. And I said, the lasagna lady. She says, oh, dearie, how are you? How's your family? How's everybody doing? I'm like, oh, my gosh. And to this day, it's funny because she does not know me as Sam. She only knows me as the lasagna lady.
Yeah.
So that's how I got the name here in Chicago for the lasagna lady.
And that's a great story because there's always that connection because albeit it's like if there's a couple foods that people absolutely love there are both great ways to reach out to. Pizza is one, lasagna is the other, and that's the thing, because I like your philosophy too when it comes to the layering of life and how the ingredients of lasagna really have to do with the way that life works. We're talking about the noodles, we're talking about the cheese in there, and you got to have a little sauce in life too, right, Sam?
Absolutely, absolutely. I talk about the sauce a little bit too in my book, and that chapter actually is enlarge your life or add to it or feel normal again. And I can tell you, through the pain and the tragedy, sometimes I didn't feel normal, but through the sauce and through lasagna, through just working it through, I learned how to feel normal again, how to enlarge my life through the sauce. So we talk about the sauce in the book, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because it's in the sauce. That's the key right there. The sauce has so much to do with the flavor of the lasagna, and really has to do with the flavor of life too. When it comes to the lasagna of life, right, Sam?
Yes, it does. Absolutely. When I would do it, or actually when I would make my sauce, I dance in the kitchen and add the flavors and then things like that, because once you have the tomatoes and everything else, you don't want that sauce tasting the same. You want to add to it. You got to add those spices to it, and then it becomes something so you're enlarging that. You're making it bigger. You're making it bolder, and then I just relate that to yourself. Enlarge your life. Make it bolder. Make it bigger right where you are in the process of any hurt or any highest pain.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too, because in the one thing you understand from Samantha Kendall, who is the lasagna lady, the author of Life Through Lasagna Eyes, the recipes for life and finding joy, is that when you end up when you're dancing in the kitchen making the lasagna, that it's a product that's being made with love, because you get true joy out of doing it then, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that, even with Sam's Gourmet Lasagna and the two, and relating it to the book, Life Through Lasagna Eyes, it's been synonymous across the board that it's really driven by love. It's driven by family, reaching out to others and sharing this all over the world for people. So, and who doesn't like to sit at the table with a warm piece of lasagna that just came out of the oven? I mean, so it's made with love, and it's also just for family and friends and to share. So we express that through our love and passion in making that product and getting it out to people everywhere. And it's available now in Whole Foods, so I don't know if in the Midwest area. So we're excited about that as well.
That sounds great. Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm glad I ate beforehand before we had this interview, Sam, because if I wouldn't, I'd be eating this microphone in front of me right here and be so hungry from what you're describing here. So tell us a little bit about the startup of the business. Obviously, people saw that you had a wonderful gift for making lasagna. How did you turn that into an entrepreneurial venture, and the struggles that happened along with that?
I turned this into an entrepreneur when I started giving the product away. I actually gave it away for an entire year, Ted. And then I got 85% of people calling me back saying, hey, where can I get this? Can I order it? So I started the catering, and then I said, you know what? I had the kids in the kitchen. My children were in the kitchen making it with me, and then every weekend I would go out to different places. I would go to banks. I would go everywhere I could, from downtown Chicago all the way to the western suburbs and sometimes Indiana, just giving the product away. And then I started selling the product and started building it and then studying lasagna. So I studied pasta, I studied the trends and those things. So that's how it all began, with me building a brand, Sam's Gourmet Lasagna. It began with that, just word of mouth, and someone told someone else, and then it just is a passion. I've got lasagna everywhere. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned that it's being sold over at Whole Foods. Is it now? Have you gotten national distribution, or is it still kind of a regional thing around the Midwest? What's the story with that, Sam?
It's regional in the Midwest. However, if you do not live in the Midwest area, you can go to your local Whole Foods, wherever you are, and talk to the manager and request it, and they'll put it in the store.
Mm-hmm, indeed, and I know that's a company that they end up looking for local natural product too, and that's the thing, because obviously they saw something of value in the product that you're offering as well. Got to ask you some advice though, because I know because my wife is. She's first generation Italian. Her dad was Sicilian, her mom was Neapolitan. And the one thing that I was doing, I was mentioning about making the lasagna and giving the leftovers to people at work. The one thing I ended up doing, and she excoriates me for this, I ended up putting cheddar cheese in the lasagna. Now, when it comes to lasagna, and she said, that's not lasagna. That's basically a casserole you make with lasagna noodles in it. Now, I've asked one lady who was a part of the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board, can you put cheese in cheddar cheese in lasagna? She said, no, that's not lasagna. Now, I have to ask the lasagna lady, can you put cheddar cheese in lasagna and get away with it?
Well, I'll tell you this. My professor at Loyola, him and his wife are 100%, they're Sicilian, and he said, I just cannot believe. So I brought in lasagna for them, for him and his family, and his daughter was in school as well. And I tell you, he said, Sam, we're adopting you into our family. We absolutely love the lasagna. I think for me, lasagna is about being innovative. It's about being creative. It's about taking it to the next level and to the next height. I do use those types of cheese in there, and I mix it up a little bit. But I also, at some point, if someone comes to me and says, Sam, could you build this for me? And this is what I want in it. If they're vegan or if they're vegetarian, I'll build it for them, just for them, to their specific, whatever it is that they would like. So I put it in there, and I have a lot of customers that are here in Chicago that are 100%, and they absolutely love it.
There you go. So so I've been vindicated. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that. But that's the thing, too.
Yes, you are.
Well, if you look at pizza, it's like, when they ended up originating pizza, I'm sure that some folks like in Sicily or in Italy never thought about putting pineapple or sauerkraut on pizza, and they end up doing that. It's really, or breakfast pizza for that matter as well. So that's the key right there. Innovation, right, Sam?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
it is.
but yeah, that's the thing, because really what we're talking about is more than just innovating a product. It's innovating your life and really expanding your love and your joy in life and sharing that joy with others. And that's one thing that you do with your lasagna and with the story, because you're a motivational speaker. You get out there and you tell people the layers of life are what make it the joy that life can be, right, Sam?
Absolutely, yes. I started off with 3 varieties of lasagna. I started off with my turkey, my vegetable, and my chicken, and I've expanded so much. I have so many varieties of lasagnas that I do. If I told you the number, Ted, your head would probably do a spin there. But I'll tell you, Whole Foods carries our broccoli vegetable lasagna, and they also carry our kale vegetable lasagna. And the broccoli, of course, is the star vegetable or the star ingredient in that broccoli vegetable lasagna, and the kale is the star ingredient in the kale vegetable lasagna. All of our products is made with a fresh pasta. We make our sauce from scratch, and all of the ingredients are fresh. So absolutely.
Yeah, and I've got broccoli in my lunch today, which is good, and I say hail kale when it comes to that, simply because I've discovered the joy of kale along the way too. So that's so that's the lasagna lady for you, Samantha Kendall, joining us on Big Mornings on the Big AM 1380. And you have a website if people want to find out more about the lasagna as well as the lasagna of life, right, Sam?
Yes, absolutely. It's www.samsgourmetlasagna.com. And also the book is available on Amazon.com, Barnes & Nobles, and all of the social or the media outlets for bookstores and those types of platforms. Yeah,
we should mention once again the name of the book, Life Through Lasagna Eyes, the recipes for life, and the lasagna eyes belonging to the lasagna lady, Samantha Kendall. Sam, thanks for joining us. And I got through this episode, this interview here, and the next thing you know, I'm not eating the microphone, so I'm looking forward to lasagna now. Thanks to your joining us today, Samantha. Thanks, we appreciate it, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Ted, for having me.